evening. I am Rachel V from The Vines Way and VIP Publishing. I want to take out some time to share with all my new followers and my new friends on social media my book, 7 Mile for Life. This book has been out since 2019, and I'm just going to share a little bit about this book. It's based on a true story. It's juicy, it's funny, it's exciting, it's action-packed, and it's a book that you will definitely enjoy. The chapter 1 starts off with the title, Play at Your Own Risk. So that right there tell you, when it start like that, it's some deep stuff going on. Then from there, it goes to chapter 4. It's like that, and that's the way it is. That's deep. And then I'm going to go over to chapter 17, For Life. And I'm just going to read a little bit of this just to give you guys a sneak peek. For Life, chapter 17. For as long as I can remember, I had always had a fascination with cars. My grandfather, Superman, probably had something to do with that. My brother, Eric, had always seemed to have the kind of taste in cars that I could respect. I guess good taste was genetic. In 1995, my grandfather had a gray 1989 Caprice Classic with a burgundy pinstripe and burgundy interior. Her neighbor, KP, had the exact same car and always asked her to sell hers to him. She never would, but we always got a good laugh from him trying to convince her. Eric had a drop-top Mustang at the time. Back then, a Mustang was like a BMW, so almost everybody who could afford one had one. I had a clean silver Cutlass Brougham with burgundy interior and pinstripe that I called Grady. I had a thing for naming my cars. It was in great condition and it didn't have a dent or a scratch anywhere. I was very protective over Grady, but my Uncle Tyrone was the exception to the rule. He was my twin. We were 10 years apart, but our birthdays was on the same day, and we just had kindred spirits. He was the kind of man who took great pride in his appearance and would never be seen looking anything less than flawless. That's how Tauruses are. I can remember him constantly checking his clothes to make sure that his creases were sharp and there was no lint on him. He also maintained his grooming like he got paid to model. His wavy hair was always meticulously trimmed and lined, and the women paid attention. I was his niece, but I knew that my uncle wasn't the kind of man to get overlooked. He was the only person whom I trusted to take care of Grady when I let him take the car. One night he asked me to let him use my car to go out somewhere. I agreed, but told him that I had to be to work early, so I needed him to be back in time. I was ready to go to bed around 10, and he wasn't returning my call after I paged him, so I was starting to get a little worried. Tyrone was a drinker and a gambler. He could easily go missing for a whole day at the Windsor Casino, so I was expecting the worst. The next morning, I woke up at around 5 a.m. and went to look out the window. Grady was nowhere in sight, and I started panicking. My uncle had never let me down when I needed him, but there was always a first time. I thought to myself angrily, I just knew that he was somewhere drunk and having a good time at my expense, and I was upset with him. I paced the floor almost an hour, beeping him and calling people to try to locate him. I don't know what it was, but something compelled me to go peek out of the back window. When I looked into my backyard, I couldn't believe my eyes. I saw Grady backed all the way up to the garage, and the outline of a man with a chocolate complexion stretched out asleep in the front seat. Tyrone must have returned in the wee hours of the morning and was too drunk or tired to make it inside, I determined. I was so happy to see him in my car parked outside. We had always had each other's backs, and it felt good knowing that I could rely on at least one person in my family to keep their word. I ran outside and banged on the window. Ty, get up. He awakened, rubbing his bloodshot eyes, and smiled at me. Come inside the house. I'm about to get ready to go to work, I told him lovingly. I hurried to get dressed for work. Somebody had to make the donuts in my house. When I made it home that night, I ran into my uncle at my grandmother's house, and he filled me in on his night. As I expected, he had an adventure worth writing a story about, and we had a good laugh. So that's just a little bit, just talking about my Uncle Tyrone. Like I said, we was twins. Our birthdays on the same day, April 24th. He was 10 years older than me, and we was like this. We hung out, went to clubs, we just hung out. He was very protective of me, and unfortunately he is no longer with us. He passed a few years back, but again, that was my favorite uncle. He was a gambler to his heart. He was beating all the niggas on the streets with the dice game and all of that, taking niggas' money. But that's what we did on 7 Mile. But I will be doing little inserts and little sneak peeks of the 7 Mile book, along with the Crooked book that I just released a few months ago. I'll be doing some sneak peeks into this book as well. Both of these books are on Amazon right now, as well as some other books that I have published. I will be releasing some new books. We have a children's book coming out soon, so just stay tuned, and maybe once a week you will see me. I will be doing sneak peeks into the books, just to give you guys something to look forward to when you purchase your book. You can purchase your book from me, an autographed copy, $20, or you can go online. These books are on Kindle, and you can also purchase a paperback book from Amazon. So again, I am Rachel V from VIP Publishing, and this is The Vine's Way. Peace and blessings.